I'm Mac, CEO of National Streaming Sports Network and the host of the Mac and Jack Sports Show. And you're watching Our Lady of Sports, Sonia Pearson, host of Prim and Proper Sports. Thanks for watching.
Good evening, everybody. Happy Friday, January the 17th, 2024. I'm your host, Sonia, host of Prim and Proper Sports. This is the Friday with the Fellas series. Let me give a shout out to my bestie today. It's her birthday, Neldra Allen. Happy birthday to you, sis. And you guys heard Mac, download the Roku app so that you too can be in the know with all things sports without the cost of cable. Hop on over to Roku, look for National Streaming Sports, and find them there. And tonight, guys, I have a whole platform. We're also live on TikTok, which will be going down on Sunday. And this is no greater time than to join everybody. So let me go ahead and start introducing my guest. I'm going to give the first deference to none other than Las Vegas Raiders own Captain Jack Rackham. Captain, thanks for joining us again. Good evening.
Yeah, good to be here. Thank you for letting me come back. I wasn't sure if I was welcome at times because there's I am a unique kind of salty person. So, but thank you for letting me back in.
You are always welcome, Captain Jack. Don't ever get it twisted. No matter what happens, you're always welcome back. And we had such a good time last week. We had to bring as many of you back as possible. Let me introduce some to you who is just the typical Falcon fan, fickle and not accountable until they're winning. And let me bring him on up because a lot of people probably miss him. They probably thought he's left the network and everything, but he is not. It's one other than my brother, Kevin. Kevin, good evening. It's so good to see you tonight, brother.
What's going on?
It's been such a long time. Let me see if I can find your name up here on the platform. I might have to create you a whole little name. I done took it down. I didn't know, but we're gonna get that fixed before tonight. And let me get your right hand up here with us, the one and only J Train, the loyal New Orleans Saints fan. Say hello to our StreamYard, our YouTube, our Roku, our Fire TV, and tonight our TikTok audience.
What's going on, everybody? I hope everybody's well. Kevin, Captain Jack. We don't have to talk about that Saints game, and Sonya, I hope everybody's good.
Everybody's good. And guys, on TikTok, when you're coming in, please double tap screen so we'll know you're here listening live. We're getting ready for a fun-packed night. This is always a fun show. Feel free to chime in with your comments. This is Friday Night with the Fellas. Captain Jack, I'm going to give you the floor first because last week we just did not have enough time. We even went an hour and 15 minutes into the show, and it just was not enough time. We had at least 4 other people on the platform. Bo Crouch may be joining us if he gets home in time. So go figure. But Captain, what is it? What you got us to know tonight?
Well, first off, apologies for me being on time. I like to be early, but I just installed like an Eero device to get some boost out of my web, and I didn't quite get it done. And one of them's working, but the other 2 are not. And because you know that I'm volatile and I swear like I have Tourette's, I'm not going to, but I am feeling that right now. You know, when you try to get something squared away. And it didn't happen. I said, F it. I said, F it. I'm coming on the show and making sure that I am here. So you and J Train, right? I know there's a train by. Okay.
J Train.
J Train. There you go. I wanted to make sure I had the lettering right. So it's J and the J Train. And then that dirty bird himself over here. See, I can move for an old dude, man. Trust me. But it's always good to be here, and I again, long-winded apologies. I just want to say that thank you for letting me back, because the reason why I went off last week was because how can somebody be, and I'll get you guys caught up, how can somebody be a Rookie of the Year candidate and break all of the rookie tight end records when a certain guest was saying nobody's throwing to him?
Mm-hmm.
Hello? That's all I'm going to say.
Thank you for catching us up. So for everybody that missed that episode, you've got to go back and watch us last week. It was a great show, very spirited conversation. I had on my stripes for refereeing purposes, but they were none the good. J-Train, you always seem to be the level head of consciousness on every single show. I have to give you that. Very level headed. Even when we talk about the Saints, you still have a balance of honesty and you don't get caught up in the emotion of the fandom. Now, right beside you, unfortunately, you know, we have someone that knows what it's like to have a lead and to lose it. And so he's joining us tonight. I do want to defer because this platform, Kevin, we've been waiting on you a long time, brother. Let's just pivot and go ahead and get rid of the elephant in the room. The Atlanta Falcons spent $2 billion on Kirk Cousins and some monopoly money, and only to bench him for Michael Little Penix Energy Jr., and who has injuries to all four quadrants of his body. But they were so non-confident in KC, and I'm not talking about Kansas City, that they just told him to sit down and have several drinks of water. And not only that, it didn't even help. Now, Penix, did play well, very well. But I think it's because your defense was so stout. And even kudos to Bijan Robinson being in the top 10 running backs for this quarter. We'll go over that in just a minute. I'm going to let our little TikTok guest get acclimated. And TikTok, we're not going to keep this stream going because I have to use my phone to look up these stats and these screenshots that I've produced for my show for today. So we're letting you know now. Find us on YouTube, Prim and Proper Sports, and go ahead and subscribe. All right, Kevin, we know you've been grieving. We want to extend our condolences to you, but at this point, we don't care. We try to tell you. At the beginning of the season, and then I'm going to let you speak. It was, you know what? We're going after that dude, Kirk Cousins. You know, all we doing missing a quarterback. We probably going to win the South, and we definitely going to the division, or if not the Super Bowl. What's the talk of the town down here in Atlanta?
I never said Super Bowl.
You probably didn't, but some of your cousins here did. And not only that, I have receipts. You know, you got to be careful when you put stuff in writing. Talked about how bad the Panthers was just going to get obliterated. And I kept reminding him, sir, we win a game for the last 5 years. We split with you guys. Don't get too cocky that the Panthers can't get it done. Yeah. And lo and behold, and that's the last we heard from you. We ain't seen no dots on the text message to even look like you composing a message. So what happened?
So that was just the Panthers Super Bowl. You know, so we need to get that out of the way. You know, and they wanted to play spoiler, and I felt like, you know, the Falcons, you know, we laid down, especially in that, you know, in that last quarter. I mean, guys saw that scoreboard, saw the Saints. You know, all due respect, J-Train, they was, you know, they saw the Bucks coming back on you guys. And
oh wow, so it's because they saw the score that was going around. Wow.
Oh, don't get me wrong, it ain't no excuse. We shouldn't have lost to the Panthers. We should have lost to the Panthers.
It's not even the Panthers, really. Let's be clear. It's a lot of teams you guys lost to that you were scrambling to try to get in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, we shouldn't have lost to the Chargers. We shouldn't have lost. All due respect, Jason, we shouldn't have lost to the Saints. Like we shouldn't have lost a lot of them games. Like, you know, I blame Kurt. You know, like you said, $100 million guy. And just like some of the play calling, maybe especially on the defensive side of the football. You know, I don't feel like we blitzed a lot. We didn't blitz enough. Or we didn't get to the quarterback enough. So that's some stuff that I look at and see what we do in the offseason. Are we going to get some pass rushers? Are we going to go straight defense? You know, and who are we going to hire as our defensive coordinator? Because we fired our defensive coordinator.
Yeah. Does Kirk come back?
I don't know. I mean, he might. I mean, I don't think, you know, people are saying that he might get cut, but the way Terry Fontenot's saying, you know, I mean, we gonna pay him anyway. You might as well just pay him to be on the roster. There's no point in paying him to go to another team, and then what if we go to another team, and then next thing you know, we're playing that team, and they beat us. You know what I'm saying? So it's no point. I mean, that's why I said I wouldn't mind having him back. I mean, I know the fan base is gonna be like, no, we need to get rid of him, but you know, I mean, it is what it is. Pay him. Just paying him
With
for
J
one more
Train and
year.
I, J Train and I have seen where they're talking about getting rid of him before March to save some money. J Train, could you expound on that as a fellow NFC brother and a truth bearer for the NFC South?
Yes. Look, by March 11th, I mean, you see what some of these teams are doing now. They're dumping players if they don't really want them. They eat the money, they eat the cap. Russell Wilson, prime example in Denver. And you look at Denver, what they did after they did that. I mean, they drafted Bo Nix, and Bo Nix put himself, or Sean Payton has put Bo Nix in prime position to be Rookie of the Year, and they went to the playoffs. Albeit they lost the first game, but you could look at it as a tremendous success. They took a $39 million hit, but that $39 million hit got them to the playoffs. I wouldn't see this situation any different with Atlanta, because I think Kirk Cousins has shown that he hasn't been that guy. I'm not saying that everything was his fault. I mean, you could look at some of the offensive line play for the Falcons as well. You can say that maybe there's no adjustments that were made by the offensive coordinator that was with the Rams. I don't know. It's just, I like the kid. I like Michael Penix Jr. At first, I was against him being drafted, but he looks to be the future, and you got him now. We're in a situation where it's done. So, and the situation by trading him, they can't trade him because of them drafting Michael Penix in the first place. Kirk Cousins was really pretty ticked about that, and he was blindsided by it. So he has a no trade clause in his contract. But is he going to actually play ball and allow them to trade him? No, probably not. So they're probably going to have to cut him by March 11th to drop some of that cap. And I think it's going to happen, to be honest with you.
Can I
All
ask
right,
you?
let me get a moment to say goodbye to our TikTok audience. Make sure you guys have already linked on over. We're going to go ahead and close this out. Thank you to all 4,000 people who have tuned in and liked. We trust we see you over at YouTube. And good night. All right,
My only
guys.
thing is, it's just 10 million. Arthur Blank gonna earn that. He gonna earn that by Valentine's Day. So I'm just saying, I'm really not concerned about that 10 million. I mean, I wouldn't be concerned if he's not concerned with it.
Captain Jack, let me get your expertise, Captain Jack.
Well, first off, and J Train was correct about how the Broncos got rid of Russell Wilson at a certain time because they were ready to take the cap hit. I think the Falcons will get rid of Cousins. The question is, and it will be up to the Jewish guys that are in accounting. Yeah, I dropped it because normally there's Jewish guys in accounting.
Oh, you're trying to get us banned, Captain. Here we go.
Hey, my last name is Levy. I'm allowed to say that because I'm half Jewish. Okay,
so that's almost, Captain Jack. That's almost like something else that we black people are allowed to say. That y'all are.
I know. I will never go there. That is one thing you will never see out of my mouth. Is that I ain't even going to go there. But it's a joke. It's a Jewish joke from the Jewish guy. But the point is, the accountants and the lawyers who are also of that ilk. Anyway, they will get together and they will figure out what the best monetary way to do it is. I believe Kirk Cousins will go, whether it's a March 11th or post June 1st, whatever is economically viable for them to do. If it's the March 11th where you get rid of it all and you take it on this cut, or you wait for a post June 1st cut and spread it out over 2 years, the best way that they will get it done. And Kirk Cousins, I don't think you have to worry about him going to any team that you're playing, because I don't think he's going to go anywhere in the NFC South.
True.
He might go. God, I hate saying. He might come to us, and God, I hope.
I thought you were going to say that. He might come.
He might come to the Raiders because the Raiders need they're going to get a kid in the draft, whether it's first or second, probably hopefully second round, because I don't want to put my 6, 7, or 8 pick on a franchise quarterback in this round. In the first. No. You can get a really good quarterback later on. And those names that I personally would like to see are Jackson Dart, but that's just me. Anyway, but they need a senior oversight quarterback to come to that franchise. Now, if it's Kirk Cousins, if it's and I'm going to go to J Train here. If it's a certain quarterback that is a broken vehicle for the Saints that might be let go and come back to the Vegas Raiders, they're going to pick somebody, either Carr, Cousins, somebody to lead the franchise as a bridge. And I think that might happen. But he's gone. And it's just going to be how they manipulate the cap as to the best way to handle it. But, here's the salute to Kirk Cousins as he goes away from the Atlanta Falcons. And I will give him one more thing. You like that? You like that?
He ain't liking nothing, honey. He getting laid out somewhere.
Yeah, but he's still getting paid.
He is the white version of Russell Wilson. They have milked yet another team. And kudos to his manager that came down here. You got Kurt running around here in chains and stuff, acting like he's Dion, the vanilla version. And those chains are tarnished, sweetie. It's time for you to get up out the A. I mean, we were never, let's be clear. This is the reason why the Panthers didn't have no problem putting that beating on them. We were never afraid of Kirk. He was not a postseason contender. He was all growl, and he was all like the birds. He was all flight and no wind. Okay, that's what Kirk was.
Wait a second. Morris Day is very upset that you're talking about the bird like that. I'm just saying, okay. Morris Day and Jerome, they can do the bird. Kirk Cousins could not do that.
Yeah, he looked like a high turkey.
Man,
he looked like a turkey that was on some type of pills or something. So listen, we got the playoffs this weekend. Kevin, thanks for letting us, ask you about such a personal and hurtful thing. Y'all see, I done took my background off because every time I moved, my hair was disappearing. I'm like, I know I cut it, but I still got some over here. My God, I'm not trying to look like no dude up here.
And it looks so nice. It looks so nice.
Yeah,
we want to see it.
Thank you. I ain't want nobody to be on here. Oh, just the fellas. Y'all better quit. Okay, I'm still here. I'm not that bald. Okay. But thank you guys so much. So we are, and this is what we do. We have a lot of fun. We laugh. We talk. Kevin, like I said, I tried to tell you, brother, I've just been waiting for you to get on the platform because the text messages just didn't do justice for me. I sent screenshots throughout the game, Cap. I was like, oh my God. Oh, wow. Did you what? And the only person that would interact was James. And so finally Kevin resurfaced. I guess he had gone south for the summer like other birds do. And was like, good game, sis. I'm like, okay, he's back. I'm happy now. But Captain, before we get to the playoff picture.
Yes, ma'am.
There's a lot of talk about bringing Prime back to the NFL.
No.
People want him in Dallas. People want, he's calling y'all up. He want him and Shador over there in Vegas.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. First off, the Raiders have their sights set on Ben Johnson as their prime choice, and pun intended deliberately, their prime choice is Ben Johnson. Okay, that's who they're shooting for. That's who they're wanting to get, and their backup plan is Pete Carroll and possibly Robert Saleh. They even went about and it was going over and looking at Ron Rivera, but I think they're looking at Ron Rivera as a replacement for Patrick Graham, who is definitely out of the building and will probably go elsewhere. But no, the prime people that need to be interested in prime are those folks that wear silver and a star.
Oh,
that's who that's who Prime wants to have as his number one source of. Say, I'm prime time. I'm the coach.
He's sickening. He's sickening.
He's sick, but it's like I tell you what, he wants that. He floated that. I want to come to the Raiders, and it was immediately quelled. The Raiders want nothing to do with him as a head coach. Now he's also floated that his son is not gonna go to X, Y, and I think Z as the because he's probably going to pull like an Eli and saying, "Don't draft my son because he's not going to come there," which means that the Raiders at I can't remember if it's 6, 7, or 8. It's one of those picks. They might be in the ballpark for Shedeur Sanders, but I don't even know if they're gonna pull the trigger on him. I honestly, like I said, I'd rather have Jackson Dart and the best cornerback or the best wide receiver at that pick and pick up a quarterback later on. But if he's sitting there at whatever our pick is, I think it's like 7 or 8, whatever it is.
It's 8.
Thank you there, Jay. I'm going to be, and I will be, God willing, inshallah, and I'll go, and all that goes with it. I will be in Green Bay watching that, and I will be like, because I was in Nashville when the pick for Cleve Farrell came in, and I was like 2 people over from the guy that had the meme with the "Are you effing kidding me" face, that guy and the meme with Cleve Farrell. I was there in Kansas City. I've been there in Detroit. I'm going to go to Green Bay, and I tell you what, honestly, I don't want Shedeur Sanders. Like I said, I want somebody that has pedigree as a wide receiver or a cornerback that's going to help you out immediately, and get a kid like Jackson Dart in the 2nd round and roll with it, because he's going to have to learn anyway with whoever the Raiders bring in. Now, here's the curveball. If the Raiders get Ben Johnson will probably do everything in his power to bring Hendon Hooker with him, who is one of those backups that's sitting in Detroit that knows the system and he can work with. He already knows what he can do. The kid is remarkable. I liked everything that he did at UT, and I'm a Gator, so I'm giving him a lot of love as a Gator, giving a volunteer love. The kid has the potential to be that guy, especially in this draft. I take a Hendon Hooker who already knows the system if Ben Johnson is that guy. If it's Pete Carroll, who knows what happens? And we won't find out until the Raiders get their GM and their head coach. So, again, I'm sorry to throw curveballs at you, Sonya, but I'm going to give you the old "I have no effing clue" thing like this until that's settled.
Yeah, it's perfectly fine. Let me let me apologize first to our audience. There's a lot of comments that by me running freaking TikTok in the background, I missed them. Good evening, West Coast Win. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Yoli, Huddle Top Fan Yoli. Thank you so much, Green Bay Packers. Pink Fanfare, as always, the lady behind the promotions, the reels, the decor. You guys follow her on YouTube. She has Pink Fanfare, her makeup tutorials, her game day readiness, her super fan, and all the things that she promotes. Follow her, and we have a series we're doing once a month, Pink, Prim, and Pretty, and that's a series we just started last week. We're doing it once a month, so hope you like that with us 2 ladies.
That's me. That's Prim and Pretty.
Thank you. And thank you, Steve-O, for joining us as well. And Bo, no worries. Bo said sorry he couldn't get back in time for everyone tonight. Bo, of course, was with us last week. Very great conversation. He's another very level-headed fan. And so we definitely appreciate him, but we know he's supporting while he's watching and commenting and viewing from afar. J-Train, I want to get your thoughts on this entire Prime scenario. Everybody tends to promote equality, even though there's some businesses right now that are getting rid of their DEI and their inclusive type stuff. The NFL is not one of those. In fact, they've been really trying to promote more African Americans, Latinos, and what have you, minority races representation in the NFL. The prime factor, whereas I might not necessarily care for Prime's over the top, performance, and I feel like he brings a lot of hoopla and fanfare. What are your thoughts on not necessarily bringing him, but look at Robert Salah? He's a minority. What about bringing him, those of Jewish beliefs and Jewish ethnicities back into the league and making sure that there's a balanced representation? What are your thoughts on if Prime does come? That's part A. And part B, if not Prime, who would be a nice coach? Because you yourself are coach shopping.
Right. Absolutely. And number one candidate or number one or number two would be Aaron Glenn. another minority, which would be a good candidate for the job. But look, I believe that merit should play a role in how you select your coaching, but at the same time, you have to almost throw merit out the window when you see something like what happens to a Jared Mayo, when he gets 1 year and then gets fired because they know they want to bring in another guy who just happens to be another color, and then also the same thing in Raiderland. Now, say Capjack, you and I talked about this. We discussed this, ladies and gentlemen, about this on a previous show, that he got a year and a half to be able to audition. I mean, typically most people should get about 2 to 3 years, and I just think it really wasn't enough for him. But at the same time, I'm not knocking any team for what they do. They're trying to make their situation better. It just doesn't look good, considering not only the NFL and how they used to do things, but the country overall and how they used to do things. And so I just think, yes, I agree that we should have merit. That people should be the best person for the job, but I think it should be fair as well to give a person an opportunity to do that job once they're in there, whether they be black, white, or whomever. And so Deion Sanders, mentioning Deion Sanders, I think Deion should stay at the college level right now. I don't think he should come to the NFL level. I think right now what he's doing, he showed that he's had tremendous amount of success, being at Jackson State and then subsequent Colorado. I think he can do a lot of things. He made a lot of noise the first year. They won first 4 games and then they lost the rest, but they made a tremendous turnaround the next year. So that tells me right there, whether we say that he's got a lot of hoopla and over the top stuff around him, he still gets people and players and recruits to buy in. And so I think with that said, Colorado has an opportunity, especially with the shifting of the conferences. They have an opportunity to be a major player in the playoffs with Deion Sanders at the helm at the coach.
Yeah, and shout out to Fern, one of our original Friday with the Fellas. He's letting the muddiest bird, I say, Kevin. He don't even want to put his real name up there. Everybody else has their real name and then they have their alias, not him. Wow, I just noticed it. He said the Ohio State. And so shout out to Fern. Congratulations to them. Big things popping. Like Coach Day better bring it all the way, or he's got the maids and all these people pre-packing his house up as we speak, because they're not tolerating another L. And speaking of L's and not ever getting them, guess who's joining us, y'all? Guess who is joining us? Guess who is joining us? One of the original Friday with the Fellas. Fern, Happy New Year. We ain't seen you, brother.
Travel and work. It's been a lot going on, but I had to come on. I said, listen, I'm back in town.
Yeah. So Fern, before hold on one quick second. Before you give Kevin the Ohio State, go ahead and let him know about Bryce Young and them Panthers, what they did to the Falcons. Because you've been saying it.
I said, listen, Bryce Young, it just took a little bit of time for Bryce to kind of develop. And again, like a lot of these young quarterbacks, you gotta give them time. You can't just throw it and think, oh, okay, he's gonna do all that for us and it's gonna happen overnight. Everybody's not a CJ Stroud, and those guys is gonna have their struggles and are having their struggles. So listen, break that guy. I'm happy for you.
We tried to tell him, and thank you for it. I just want to tell you, hold on, Kevin. I just want to thank you, Fern, because there was times I wanted to give up, and you would text and be like, "Sis, don't give up. He's coming. He's going." And guess what? Right in time for them buzzers. That's all that counts.
He had a cute game.
Cute game.
Listen, I got a brace, and that's my bucket.
Mm-hmm.
I take care of business, so I had to get on and say that. pitching. So we got to take care of night. Got the game. Good.
Oh yeah.
What? Yeah, I mean, the Bucks, the Ohio. I mean, y'all gonna just bucket everybody down.
I like a domination on Monday.
Wear myself out talking about Ohio State. I'm just on. Everybody know what's up. My Giants had a horrible season this season. We got changes are gonna have holding on to our office. And then sure, there's high.
Yeah, he's getting some redemption on that by having Ohio State. I forgot to put that up there. Duh, on your banner. Kevin, how do you feel about that? I mean, we got former co-hosts coming in just making sure you're just being attacked on every angle tonight.
I mean, I like Ohio State. I think they're gonna win. I think they're gonna dominate. To be honest, I mean, I did. After Ryan Day lost to Michigan, I was like, yeah, he out of there. I did think he was out of there. I'm not gonna lie to you, but
you did tell me that.
He done turned it around. He done beat he beat Oregon, beat Texas. I can't beat Tennessee. I gotta give it to him. That's why I think they're gonna dominate on Monday, man. I think they're gonna blow Notre Dame out the water.
I don't off Kev, but that loss to me, I told them.
I agree. And the only reason why that they would probably win the national championship playing the Gators.
Oh, man.
They ain't playing the Gators. That's why they're gonna win.
I mean, were you surprised that Georgia wasn't there? I mean, they did a lot of revamping of these leagues and during the offseason. And like the big teams are squeezed up out of there. Alabama, no Georgia.
I ain't that for Georgia. That's the thing. I felt like I told Kevin this all along that I thought, guys, we wanted to, we wanted to seek our vengeance. One, Georgia was going to be 2. Oregon. I hated Oregon. Hated the way that game ended, kind of slimy the way it did. Georgia, they went through a tough season. I didn't know about, that coaches that,
Yeah, that happened at the game. At the game.
Yeah, that was tough.
That was sad.
Backup quarterback in that situation before. Gunnar Stockton, he seems like a kid, but it's a lot of pressure, right? So Notre Dame took advantage of that.
And now Carson Beck is not even going into the league. I mean, he probably wasn't going to get picked up till the next day anyway. He went on down there to the U. They said his girlfriend goes down there in Miami.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And yeah, his girlfriend is $. I mean, right now, really, there's Carson Beck, quarterback draft in my opinion. I think he's better than that, but in Miami, he's gonna get $10 million. He's gonna be able to be with his girlfriend, so that works out.
All right, guys, we got to take a quick pause real quick. We'll be back in like 92 seconds. We're a little bit over the 9:30 mark. Myself and everybody will be right back.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
All right.
That's the hardest theme song out there, y'all. So you
It
saw it. Huddle Sports Network. We back Friday with the fellas. I'm surrounded by all the kings tonight, and I am the lowly queen. All right, guys. So
The
let's
queen.
talk. Thank you. So let's talk playoffs. None of us on this platform have a dog, cat, bear, lions, tigers, bear, oh my, in the playoffs, except if you are the Ohio State and you have a college team. But for the NFL, we don't. Now, let me get you guys' thoughts on that. If we have time, we'll talk about top running backs and a little bit of other NFL news.
Oh boy.
Gets away from us so fast. I want to definitely talk about, you know what? I know what the giggles are for. Let's go ahead and just start with that game. The Philadelphia Eagles. Saquon M. Marquavius Barkley. All right.
I gotta say this. I got $100 that I owe to a gentleman that's on this show right now. Because of a bet that I lost, I do have pie in my face, about Saquon. He's a stud. He proved the running back. He proved his value. I mean, I can't say much. It hurt my feelings. I was probably hurt more emotionally when he left. But he proved that he is, that the running back position is not, it's not dead. I was listening to him and what was it? I think it was Derrick Henry. They had a group message going on in the offseason saying we're going to prove, this year that the running back position is not dead and that our value is higher than what they are valuing us. So, kudos to them.
Yeah,
The running back position. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's actually MVP talk caliber. Most of the time they're talking quarterbacks, but I would just beg to differ that his name should definitely be in discussions for MVP. He's gonna break Eric Dickerson's record this next game. He's only like 100 and some yards shy of that. I mean, it just goes to show sometimes it is the team that you're with. Unfortunately, we see Panthers fans go other places. Look at Christian McCaffrey. Until he got injured, he took the 49ers all the way to the Super Bowl. We couldn't do that with Carolina. So this is the same situation, unfortunately, Fern, that we're seeing with Saquon and the Eagles. It just hurts a little more because they're you guys' actual division rivals. Yeah. And not only division rivals, they're literally y'all's neighbors, like 95 South. It's crazy.
Yeah, it does hurt. I'm gonna open the floor up to these guys. I'm more excited about being on the show, being back in town. But yeah, Kev, you were right. You guys were right. It is what it is. We got a young stud in Tyrone Tracy. I think he's gonna be pretty good this, in the coming years. But it's hard replacing Saquon. So. He did his thing. Hopefully, the Eagles don't go any further than where they are now. I'm hoping that any moment they'll be out because I hate the Eagles. I can't say that, but respect to Saquon. You made a fool out of all of us. I remember being, I run the Giants group now, Sonya, and we was watching. I forgot what game it was. We were. I think it was the Seattle game. No, it was a game that we had both games running, and it was just silence amongst our groups and our group when we saw Saquon. It was the game they played us. I think he ran for almost close to 200 yards. Man, he stuck it to us, and it was just silence. It was like, man.
Yeah, if you're playing him, you gotta like triple coverage him, no matter who you are. I mean, J-Train, you guys, did y'all play the Eagles?
Yeah.
And how
that was his first big game. He got about 160. I think the last run that he had was like a big game, and we held him in check most of the game, but then that one big run for like 60 plus yards is where he took off, and that's what started his whole season.
Yeah, Captain, did y'all play him this year?
No, we will get the Eagles in Philly next year. and I said that. Hey, wait a second. I said that correctly because I lived in South Philly as a kid. It's the Eagles and it's the Stillers. You got to say it correctly. The Eagles and the Stillers. That's how they pronounce it up there. That's
exactly.
That's exactly how you pronounce it. But no, we get Saquon and the Eagles up next year in Philly, and I'm only going to the game if I get with my boy Philly sports guy because I go to every game and I will dress out, but I'm only going to go with Philly sports guy. But I'm also going to wear my old hat, my old everything, because I ain't going to Philly dressed up like I do normally to the Nines. I'm from Philadelphia as a kid, and I know the way their fans are. And I'm going to show up dressed down because I will show out, but I'm not going to get any of my stuff ruined by just ignorant Philadelphia sports fans. And I am an ignorant Philadelphia sports fan. Go Phillies, go Flyers. So there you go.
Yeah,
but we get them next year.
I had tags on my show a couple of days ago. And so, let me give a shout out. Speaking of Steelers, hi Carver. This is my classmate from undergrad. He's actually living up there in Pittsburgh now. He was posting all his snow stuff. Miss you too. Thank you. Love you. Thanks for joining. Please share and all this good stuff and subscribe to the YouTube because it looks like you're on my Facebook. I'm trying to get those views up. By the way, small pause. Thank you, YouTube subscribers. I'm now at 514 subscribers from 200. About 5 weeks ago, I only had 212. So thank you guys so much. I really, really appreciate y'all. Y'all know I'm a law student, so I'm trying to earn money any way I can. So I need a certain number to get monetization, and it ain't gonna be much. So thank y'all.
You'll get it.
But all right, so we've already basically said nobody wants the Eagles to win. But I'm gonna be honest with you: if the Eagles get past this game with the Rams, it's gonna be them and the Lions for the NFC division, and that team is gonna go to the Super Bowl. I well-heartedly expect to see the Lions and the Eagles in the NFC Championship.
Yep, I agree.
Let's not forget the Commanders. They're playing well. I mean,
I was about to tell you. So
let's not count those guys out. Yeah,
and I want. That's who I want to. That's why I was like, if Philadelphia gets past this game, because they are getting ready to play the Rams, right? They're playing the Rams, and the Commanders are, And so we need the Commanders to really win because that's my original team before I was a Panthers fan. Before we had the Panthers there, but the thing is that means Detroit isn't going.
Wait, the Commanders are playing the Lions. They're playing the Lions.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah. That means means Detroit is not going. If the Commanders win, and I think the whole nation is wanting the Lions to win.
Well, actually, I'm one of those. I want to see this is my dream Super Bowl, is I want the Lions to play the Bills because that is a Super Bowl where the Lions have never been. The Bills are 0-4. If you get a Lions to Bills, basically anybody but the friggin' Chiefs, by the way. But the Lions to Bills, that is a Super Bowl that people can be vested in because somebody will win their first Super Bowl. And that's not a bad thing.
Captain Jack, dreams do come true sometimes. You're gonna whether I have a dream speech. Everything is the stars are aligned, but I doubt that's gonna happen, my brother.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be the Lions.
Weekend. He did have a dream.
Right, exactly. I really think that look, I'm a huge fan of Jaden Daniels. Nobody can tell me anything about Jaden Daniels. My man's he's the commander of poise. He's been showing everybody, proving doubters wrong. He's a little guy, but he really reminds me of Lamar Jackson. And I think he's in the early phases of that. He's got a better pass than Lamar at this stage in his career. And he's likely going to get that Rookie of the Year title. But I think with the weapons that they have, we got Robinson. We also have the best weapon that he has is Terry McLaurin. And the rest of those guys, they're limited in comparison to what the Lions present. The Lions are just dominant. I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs is one of two running backs that was there, but yet my man's got almost 1,500 rushing yards and 500 receiving yards and total of 20 TDs. And he's like lightning coming out of that backfield. So I really and right now the Commanders' defense, their rush defense is number 30th. So I just don't see that. All they got to do is run the ball, and you got Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jameson Williams on the end, and Sam Laporta too to add to that mix.
They're the complete package.
They're playing in Detroit, so it will be an epic failure a mega failure if Detroit loses this game to the Commanders. And I would love to see Jaden Daniels win and upset, but I just don't see it happen.
I would love to see him win too, but just not against Detroit. I don't like that it's them. I'd rather it be Philadelphia, and I'd be like, yes, or the Rams, yes, but it's not. And that's just how it is. This is the best of the best, and everybody's rooting for the underdog, no matter if it's the 0-4 team, no matter if it's the team that don't have a ring, no matter if it's the rookie. We all just gave 3 valid reasons why we're rooting for an NFC contender or why we're not rooting for an NFC contender, like the Eagles, who've been there before, who got the rowdy fans. And I had Pags on my show, the Philly Sports Guy, day before yesterday, and we talked about that. We talked about what happens if you don't get there. You guys check it out. It's on replay. What happens if you do get there? Do you really think you have what it takes to go against Detroit, who are offensively and defensively stacked? And, he was very real and very, honest about it. Like, he wasn't 100% sure. He said he knew that would be a real battle if it came down to that. But we saw the Texans take out the Chargers, and I know I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that at all. CJ Stroud has had a sophomore slump of a year. He's got about 4 key injuries, including Mixon, who's been in and out of the game for the last half. But this is the time of year, like we always talk about. Jay Trey and I were on a show earlier, and it's the truth. Literally, this is the time of year that everybody's hurt. Everything past week 13 is everybody's hurt. Everybody's playing through something. It's just, can you really still suit up or not? So I think this game is going to come down to game clock management and penalties.
I actually
go ahead, my friend.
I'm sorry. I picked the Texans to take out the Chargers. I think it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a close game.
You did.
But I didn't expect it to be a walkover with Herbert throwing 1, 2, 3, 4 picks, baby. I love it when the garglers and the chokers.
He looked like Sam Darnold. That's another example that the offense didn't show up. The offensive line did not show up. Both situations, those quarterbacks were not protected. Him and Sam Darnold were not protected, and they were folding up like lawn chairs out there.
Yeah,
I stopped watching the third quarter. It looked painful.
And it's one game, right? We come in with these statistics of how great this team is in a regular season. Where the offensive line, where the defensive line ranks, all season long. I mean, I can use the example of the big bad Minnesota Vikings. I thought the Vikings were going to be a team that, they went deep. And sheesh, Rams showed them like, listen, we hear you. We saw what you was doing, but guess what? It's one and done, baby. So you got to win or go home. And the Rams showed that. So like I said, if you come in, with the momentum, with your backs up against the wall, you have nothing to lose. I think that Commanders team is like that. They're playing with a lot of swag. They're playing like they have nothing to lose, right? Detroit has the world to lose. This is their 3rd time, I want to say, getting to that point. I remember last year their coach, he made a statement. He says, I don't know if we'll ever get back there. And that statement resonated with me, right? And I guess he was just challenging his team, but it's that one and done mentality. Like, I can care less about anything else. Listen, we under the lights for this game. We win, we move on. Show us what you got. So let's, Detroit needs to be, I know they're humble, right? And everybody have these expectations of Detroit. But if Washington comes in there, all out, I can see that it could possibly be an upset because they have the momentum right now, and
they have to come in mistake free. They have to Washington. If they come in, they have to come mistake free. They can't do it because they're playing with a limited hand. They're players. Like I said, Terry McLaurin is the best weapon that Jaden Daniels has on that team, and everybody else is just like, in comparison to Detroit's, they're just. I don't want to say mediocre, but they're just not. They're not up to par. They would be like, if they would be 2nd string or 3rd string on Detroit's team. Let's just put it that way. If they were on that team,
I would say that anybody for these underdogs, and let's go through them. Kansas City is obviously, they're the ones that are the underdog is Houston. Okay, the underdog is Washington against Detroit, and I I kept the beret on because I do a character on my show, Jean-Paul Jacques from Detroit. You know, I said that's why I have my beret and I talk to the French accent. And so Detroit Campion, and you are an imbecile if you think that anybody is going to beat Detroit. But anyway,
Carver Campbell gave you a shout out about that.
I know, and that's I saw the hat. I said, and by the way, I'm Navy all the way through. Plus, I got my salute to service. But if you look at it,
thank you for your service. Thank you.
If you look at it, it's a Captain Jack, it's a Raider pin, and a Captain Jack pin that's on that Army beret. But I love the beret. I look good in it. But anyway, the underdogs, like I said, and the only game that is really going to be really tight and close is Buffalo and Baltimore, because those guys are going to beat the living crap out of each other, and whoever goes to that game is deserving of it, because you're playing somebody that is actually a better team than Kansas City, because Kansas City has been limping by all year on that. So anybody but KC. But here's the thing. Houston is going to be playing the Chiefs and the referees. It's always 11-on-22.
Chefs and the refs. Chefs and the refs.
Two things. This game you mentioned about Buffalo versus the Baltimore Ravens. That's probably going to be the best game in the playoffs, including the Super Bowl.
Hey, now that the Buffalo Bills play,
that is your Super Bowl. They said.
You can almost look at it, and I got Baltimore winning that game. I got them winning a close game. I think Derrick Henry. Everybody talks about Saquon Barkley, and then they look at the 2,005 yards he had, but Derrick Henry had 1,920 yards as well. So he was a beast as well. And him and Lamar make each other great. I mean, they had to. Pittsburgh said they had to have T.J. Watt focus solely on Derrick Henry only, because they just give Lamar whatever he wants, because we want to stop that train that's coming through, and they still couldn't stop him. And I just don't think Buffalo is going to have what it takes to stop that running train either. I like Buffalo as well. I think Buffalo is a great team, and I think, like I said, this is going to be a great game, and it's going to be a cold game. It's supposed to be freezing. Yeah, exactly. But it's
gonna be cold in Atlanta as well. I mean, it's cold all over the Eastern Seaboard. But I mean, Lamar
it's cold here in Florida. It's like down in the 40s. That's cold.
Oh wow, that's cold in Florida.
It's supposed to be on Inauguration Day on Monday. It's a high of 22 in Atlanta. Jesus. Low of 17 for that high of freaking 22. So I'm letting y'all know, go ahead and get your bread, water, and milk, and all the stuff y'all gonna get now, because Instacart about to be shut down. They already shut DoorDash down last week because of the snow here. And my great grandma always said, if it's snow on the ground 3 days afterwards, then you're gonna get another snow. And my neighbors in front of me still have snow in their yard. I don't have it because my house is more in the sun. But here we are, projected to get snow again Tuesday and Wednesday of this week. Now how much? The modules are still out. But I will say this, Derrick Henry is a fresh set of legs for Lamar Jackson. Given Derrick Henry there, he is the Saquon for that team. So if you put those two teams against each other, like say the Eagles and the Ravens,
that's
two birds. It's the battle of the birds. And let's be clear, not just the battle of the birds, but the best birds in the league. Not no subpar birds that call themselves, dirty birds, and
we talking playoffs. We don't have to go there.
Notice I took a minute to get a shot in.
You should have shot at you, Kev.
We talking playoffs.
With that said,
I'm starting to think you a fan, Sonny.
Everybody knows I've been living in Atlanta. I've been living in Atlanta literally longer now than I have been in North Carolina. I literally am a peach by default. But what I won't do, now I might support y'all if y'all go to the playoffs. But what I won't do, as long as Carolina got a team, now if it's trying to sell their team, that's another thing. Please. But what I won't do now, won't be no other thing.
That's funny.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
We're not putting the emphasis on the amount of pressure Jalen Hurts is on.
That's true. That is true.
AJ Brown, $20 million receiver. Devontae Smith, $20 million receiver. Dallas Goedert, $10 million tight end. Offensive line, you spent all that money. You brought in Saquon. Defense is stout. You can't throw for 130 against this Rams offense. I mean, against this Rams defense, and think that you finna win that game because Matt Stafford and them boys is coming.
You just said Matt Stafford. Let me say this: the Rams played against a shaky offensive line in Minnesota.
Okay,
this offensive line they're about to go up against is not shaky at all, my man.
The Packers defense is not that good. They didn't even have Jair Alexander. He only threw for 130.
Yeah, but I mean, did they really have to? I mean, what did Saquon run for?
He had 119.
Yeah, I mean, it's
balanced. It was balanced. Like
it was
said,
balanced, a balanced team, exactly.
Run, and the defense is gonna get you. I said the Rams defense, and hey, by the way, I give credit where credit is due. I'm a Gator, but those two Florida State Seminole rookies that are on the Rams defensive line, Fisk and Burst, they are the truth. They make that Rams defense go. So when you see a Gator giving props to Seminoles, there you go.
But you got to flip that, Captain Jack. You got to flip that. Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter. That's the more dominant interior.
No. That's what I'm saying. You add those two rookies to those two guys. My God. But you got but I'm talking about for the Rams, right? They made that Rams defensive line great, but you got the UGA connection with Jalen Carter doing all that he did. You got was it and Kobe Dean, I believe, was the other.
I think he's hurt.
He's gonna be out that game. He's hurt.
Yeah, he's out.
Yeah,
well, but still,
they got all kinds. They got Nolan. They got Jordan Davis. They got and even my man that used to play for the Saints, Zach Bourne. He's all first team All Pro. It's just gonna be and then the defensive backs, man. That defense, the Eagles are just really they don't like you said balance.
It's gonna fly, maybe.
I mean, I'm losing my voice here. They're gonna win this game.
And Jordan,
I said it's gonna win, but like I said, the Rams defense will give them a gain, but they're gonna putter out at the end. It's those Eagles that will fly.
Jordan Love that ball over a lot. Matt Stafford ain't gonna turn that ball over like Jordan Love was turning.
No, Matt's not. No.
Yeah, but he is gonna get pressured though, brother.
He probably gonna get pressured, but he ain't gonna turn.
I mean, he's got a quick release. He can throw the ball real fast, but I just don't see those guys. The corners are gonna match up well with those receivers as well. I mean, Quinyon Mitchell is a dog. I mean, don't get me wrong. My man that plays Puka Nacua is a beast, but the rookie is a beast as well, coming out of Toledo. So I like the Eagles here, and I just think it's probably gonna be about a touchdown.
I'm just saying, it's a dangerous game because they let Kirk Cousins. They run Zach Robinson run that same offense, and I'm sure Sean McVay is looking at that like, oh, I know how to. As soon as they blitz, I'm gonna put somebody right there in that little zone, pick them apart. So that's what I'm just saying. They better not
come down to schematics.
Yeah, they better not come in there complacent.
Scheme makes a difference.
Shut down Saquon.
Come down to scheme.
I just don't see. I mean, Saquon's on the tear. They should have gave that man his 2,105 yards at the end of the season. I think he wants to win that Super Bowl now. And I'm not saying they're going to win it, but I don't think they're going to lose it to the Rams.
They can't.
That's his focus is, yes, I'm going to break this record, but I'm trying to get to the Super Bowl again. You know, if the Eagles are trying to get their second ring, or is this their second ring, third ring, something like that.
They beat that second.
They beat the Cheatriots, thank God.
Yeah.
And then they were going for their second one because they lost to the Cheatriots and they lost to the Raiders the other two times that they were in there. Not the guy who knows
combination of the Chiefs and the Patriots. That's actually good there, Captain. I mean, I know we're at the top of the hour, but we got a little bit of time extra, guys. If y'all have a little bit of time, because I don't think nobody's airing live. Kerry's shaking his head. No, you ready to go, eh?
That's no, I got time today.
I thought you said you ain't got time. I'm about to say, yeah, that's what they do when the game is getting out of control. All the Falcons fans exit that way. You see them in droves. The first time I went to a Falcons game and I saw a lot of Falcons fans leaving, I was like, are they giving away T-shirts or something in the lobby? And I didn't realize that they leave like that. I mean, at least y'all come to the game though. Panthers, we don't even show up. I'll let you feel better about that. We sell our tickets for a cup of coffee, but not next year, honey. Because once Bryce got lit, Bryce is going to. Let me tell you something. The NFC South is going to look totally different. You heard it here first. It's going to look totally different next season. Okay, trust and believe.
I will say this, sis. I really feel like the Falcons got a diamond, and I'll say a diamond in Michael Penix, man. I think he's gonna be the second coming. This guy, I like Penix. I like the way he throws the ball, like the way he moves. I mean, and once he gets everything rolling, he gets acclimated to that offense. They get a few more. They got weapons, they just got to get used to him. I think the Falcons are gonna be that. I think the Falcons are gonna be a threat. Carolina too.
Lord.
I'm not counting Carolina out. Listen, Carolina, they have a really good base right now. They just got to build from there. I told you about Bryce Young. I still believe in him. Cyrus, Kev, he called me the other day, and he said, "Listen, I'm telling you, and I told y'all don't want to believe me, but Bryce Young is that guy." He says,
"Oh yeah,
I'm telling you,
He's
he is
always
that
been
guy."
that
So
guy.
I think Carolina. Carolina just has to. They have to do what we do. They got to start making the right decisions, right?
Yes,
They're gonna have to start
Cyrus
being a
was
little bit
on
more.
with you, Fern. You had him on by yourself that time.
Oh, Cyrus.
Yeah.
It was me and Kev.
Okay, yeah, because I wasn't in town or something. I don't know, but yeah, I got to get on when he comes on again. I will say this. Jonathan Brooks, who we really looked at having a lot of promise, and I'm not trying to make this the Carolina show. I just want to plug this in. Was holding for a lot of promise. He came into the league with an injury though from college, and then as soon as he got back enough to play, got hurt again. So yesterday or the day before, Carolina fired their team doctor. Team trainer, all that stuff. They got rid of all them. I guess they felt like they cleared him, and he really wasn't good enough to come back. So they cleared their little health PE coach over there. So they're looking for some people, stuff like that. But yeah, it's going to be super competitive. I'm excited to finally get beyond the curve. All of y'all know what it's like to be behind the curve.
Absolutely.
And this is 2025. We have not been the same since 2015 when we went to the Super Bowl. So 10 freaking years of just I don't even think we made the playoffs. Maybe one time, but
Sonia, you don't know what hurt is.
The Raiders,
You don't know what hurt is. The Raiders won their last Super Bowl. I said won their last Super Bowl. I was a freshman in college, and I don't even think that you were on the earth.
What is it, 84?
Did you go to school with Jesus?
Was that 84?
Oh, wow.
January 84, I graduated.
84?
Graduated 83 in January 84 as a freshman in college at Georgia, at Florida, which is why I was doing this to my boy with the OSU stuff.
Kevin might not have been here, but
wow.
I was 9 years. Let's see, 84. I was 8, about to turn 9 in January.
We were 9, right? Exactly.
I was 2 in 80. 84. I wasn't born. I wasn't born in 8. I was born in 86. 86.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, snap.
J-Train was around, I think.
Kev is younger than me.
Me and Sonya are the same age.
Still swimming.
Okay. And remember,
you could have kept that. You could have kept that.
I'm hitting, and God forbid, God willing, in 2 months I will hit a number with a 6 in the front. Okay.
Salute to you, my brother.
Well,
thank you, but I still gotta wait the other 60-something days to hopefully make it. Okay.
You'll make it, though.
And I will say, I'm hitting a number with a 5 in the front in 2 weeks. So God is good.
We gotta go out, sis. We gotta go out. We gotta do something. Come on, man.
Yes. Thus the haircut. I'm starting already. The whole
shout out to one of my
so cool. 25 and 25 is 50. So it's a great year.
It's a great year. 25. Shout out to Rich Gannon. That was one of my favorites. He was a great quarterback. That year you guys lost to Tampa. I was rooting for the Bucks, but because they were just invincible. But you guys had a pretty decent team. I mean, I thought Rich Gannon was going to pull it out at one point, but that Bucks defense was just too much. Warren
Blame it
Sapp,
on-
Derrick
Wasn't
Brooks.
he MVP? Wasn't he MVP that year?
Blame it on, and unfortunately, I'm going to have to say it. Our center, who had his issues with his mental health, had he not checked out, that game would have been different, because the last time we had played the Bucks the year before, we beat them 40-9 or 40-0, and it was basically the same team. It was the same Raider team and the same Bucks team, but when Barrett Robbins checked out, and Bill Callahan, the author of The Stupidest Team in America. By the way, Bill Callahan, I'm right here. Sonya, don't look, Sonya. Don't look, Sonya.
Yeah, I don't have anything to block it.
That's it.
Well, there goes my monetization, YouTube.
Well,
you had Jerry Rice and Tim
Brown.
Tim Brown and Jerry Rice.
Corner, right?
Jerry Rice, Jerry Porter, and Tim Brown. Charlie Garner running, and we still could, and it was because of Barrett Robbins not being able to play that game that they had and John Gruden, the only team he was going to beat that day was the Raiders.
Yep, was the Raiders. He had a vendetta against them. So, yep, you're right.
Hey, they didn't even change up their offensive play call.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Monty Kiffin's defense with John Gruden playing Rich Gannon for that week. And by the way, it's the last time a Super Bowl was only 1 week after the conference championships game. That's the last time that happened too. There's always been the conference championship game, a week off, and then the Super Bowl 40 years ago, or sorry, in
2002.
2002. Thank you. That was the last time it happened. So we got double hosed in all of those things that happened. So I leave it to you folks. Hey, 40 years, Sonya, and it's been like since I've been down here in Florida, basically, when I came back. So
they're getting ready to revamp the whole season again. Pretty soon we'll be playing the Super Bowl in March if they're not careful. Goodell came out with another message today. I know we kind of like hitting in strides all over the place, but it's all together. It's like
with the 18 games schedule.
Yeah, but they're gonna cut 2 preseason games. Then they're gonna have everybody's bye is gonna be around week 14. That's how they're gonna do it. Like everybody's gonna get one of the weeks off or what. Like it's crazy. Pags was explaining it to me, the Philly sports guy.
What they're aiming for, I'm pretty sure, is to have the Super Bowl Monday being on the holiday.
Yes, on MLK. Yes. No, on President's Day, so that you're off the next day.
Oh, whatever. But they're going to shoot for the Super Bowl to be. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're correct. On President's Day, the day before, so everybody has the day off.
Which is what I'm saying. President's Day is around the 20th. Fern's got a birthday around that time, and I know that's his birthday. And February is leap year. So if you got a leap year and President's Day say is February 24th that year, you're almost in March.
Yep, you're tipping into March.
They'll figure it out. It's going to happen. They're going to get that 8 because the 17 game schedule is awkward. You have that.
They want 20 games with 18 of play.
Oh, 20. Okay. Well, see that. Well, I was going to say you need to get it to an even amount. So 18 is the next juncture.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up the article. But while I'm pulling this article up, I do want to get you guys' picks. I know it's Friday. Everybody's had a long week. Fern, I'm so glad you're able to join us tonight on short notice. But I'm so excited that everybody's here. These are the original fellas, y'all, except for Captain. Captain, you're our guest. We are the original Friday with the Fellas crew right here. And y'all put me on the map. It started out me and Fern by ourselves. Fern introduced me to J Train, and J Train introduced me to Kevin, and vice versa. And now here we are. We've been doing this over a year as of that time flies by. And we've been getting a lot of views. This is literally, I asked Gemini. So y'all know Gemini is the new AI, right? I literally screenshot in the chat with Kevin and J Train. that when you ask Gemini what is Prim and Proper Sports now, because I just wanted to know if people were like, it was trending, it actually comes up and it says our highest rated show is Friday with the Fellas. And it said on there that there's normally around 800 views plus. I was excited.
Sis, I got my lawyer in the back, sis. I'm waiting, when you blow up and sign that big contract, I gotta come get a piece of that.
Well, but you got your lawyer in the back, but I'm about to be a lawyer myself.
I know you are, so that's why I gotta prepare mine, because I want a little piece of that, sis.
Yeah, listen. We all eat. That's how we are. That's why I'm saying it. I could not still be doing this like I was doing for 6 years before I did the platform where I'm just reading notes. Like you guys make Friday with the Fellas. And so I'm hoping we can do this more often. This is super fun. Captain, you're more than welcome to join us. You always have a lot of information, always a lot of fun as well. And I'm just honored that y'all are all here tonight.
I appreciate you, Sonya.
Yeah, so while I'm looking, let me get your picks. We talked about the She-Gulls game. Let me get your picks of every game. Any of you guys can actually start off while I'm looking up this article about this 20-week game. Let's start with the AFC.
Picks or
Chiefs and
spread?
Texans.
I mean, pick them out outright or spread.
We're not doing the spread. Let's just who you think would probably win and about how many points. Because the spread, that could be 1 point when you look at the Bills and the Ravens game. So that could go either way.
Yeah, first off, I don't do numbers. I just say who's going to win. Because again,
I still don't. I'll be having to get directions. I still don't know.
Yeah, here's the thing. It's like just like Al Davis said, just win, baby. It doesn't matter if it's by 1, 10, or 100. You win. Okay.
I like that.
Win. And the numbers only count in Vegas. Okay, seriously. And I'm not from Vegas, but I spent a lot of time there. Okay.
And as my boy says from Talladega Nights, if you're not first, you're last. That's my favorite thing.
That was funny.
Will Ferrell.
Well, I also say that I actually had another movie line, but I know why it was called when you were talking about Cyrus. I don't know who that gentleman is, but as soon as I hear the name Cyrus, I always think of
ODB.
No.
I like that.
New York on him, Ferd. I went New York on him.
ODB for sure.
Can you dig it? That is Cyrus. That is Cyrus to me. Anyway, unfortunately, I think that the Chiefs are going to win, but I think that Houston has a good chance of taking them if everybody plays right and the officials don't get into the muckety muck. I think Houston might surprise them, but I do think the Chiefs will win. I think the Ravens will win because of that balanced offense over the Bills, but that's going to be like J Train was saying, that's going to be the best playoff game this whole cycle. I think that the Eagles will take out the Commanders, and I think that, as I say, as in Jean-Paul Jacques, Detroit will be victorious in their game against whoever the hell they're playing. But Detroit
the Rams.
All right, you heard it first from Pepe Le Pew himself. Okay.
All right, I'll go next. I'm taking Kansas City over Houston. My boy CJ Stroud. It's gonna take him a little time to get there, but he'll get there. I'm taking Kansas City. AFC wise, I want to get jumped, but I'm taking Buffalo over Baltimore. And again, I'm a big Lamar fan. I just don't think they're going to come into Buffalo and beat those guys. That's just my opinion. Eagles it's once and then there's truth, right? So I think the Eagles, it's going to be a close one, but I think the Eagles are going to win. They're going to beat the Rams. And then the Commanders and the Lions, right? Once and reality is totally different. I think Detroit is going to win that game.
Thank you so much, Carver, for the compliments and for joining us tonight. He said he got to sneak back with the fam with movie night. We really appreciate you engaging with us. And he's also saying go Commanders. Fern, that's actually a good point. I mean, sometimes we kind of overlook some of the stuff that's right underneath our eyes, J Train, what are your thoughts on this game?
Commanders versus Lions. I think I mentioned it earlier. I just think the Lions will be just too much at home. And I like Jaden Daniels. I mean, I love Jaden Daniels. I want him to win. I'd love him to win this game and upset here, and I wouldn't be mad at it if it actually happens, but I just don't see it happening. I like Philadelphia versus the Rams. I just don't think the Rams going to have enough for that offensive line and that running game. I just think it's going to be too much at home in Philly. The Bills versus the Ravens. I just think the Ravens, same thing. I mean, I think this game's going to come down to who makes the least mistakes. If anybody fumbles a game, because both teams are going to be like going up against each other. I think, Lamar versus the Bills defense and Derek Henry. They're gonna get their yards. On the other side, Josh Allen, he's gonna get his. Whoever makes a mistake, that's who's gonna lose. But I think the Ravens are gonna win. The Kansas City Chiefs. Now look, the Kansas City Chiefs versus Houston. I think Houston's defense looked dominant versus the Chargers, but you got to look at what the Chargers were presenting in front of them. They only had one really good wide receiver, Ladd McConkey, and Quentin Johnson just looks like a bust, first-round bust, man. He's dropping passes all over the place, not even helping his quarterback out. I just think that Houston's defense looks good, but they're going up against a much better quality quarterback and receiving core. I think they're going to match up evenly with that defense. And I think on the opposite side, if Stroud doesn't, if he does like he did against a really good defense against the Rams, he gives his team a chance. But Chris Jones is just in that middle, man. And I just think Trent McDuffie and the rest of those crew are going to do enough to win the game like they've been doing all year.
Kevin?
All right, so I mean, let's get the two easy ones out there. I think the Lions and Chiefs. I mean, without they're both gonna win. Now, the two games that I'm like really like on the fence with, I kind of think the Rams are gonna go in here and beat the Eagles, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't really trust Sirianni all that much. I think it's gonna be a key moment in the game where he's gonna
He'll be
mess it up
himself.
He's gonna mess it up. You know what I'm saying? Like, and Jalen Hurts, like I said, Jalen Hurts are coming off the concussion. I don't know, how he can't hold on to that football. Like, what's his name was holding on to that football last week. Like Sam Darnold, he got to be more decisive. He got to have answers. He got to get rid of it. And that Eagles secondary is going to be, I think they're a little bit banged up. I mean, Slay, he got hurt in that last game. I think they're going to be able to run the ball on the outside. I don't think they're going to go up the middle. I think they're going to use more so, use the outside because, like you said, Nakobe Dean's hurt. So I think that offense is going to score a little bit more than what people think. And then in that Bills Ravens game, I like the Ravens. I mean, I think they're gonna run the football. If the Bills play nickel in that game too much, they're gonna lose that game. They need to don't put a third DB out there and think that it's going to be sweet, because they just gonna go ahead and just play smash ball. We're better than you football, and just start running the football on them. And that's my pick.
And I agree with you. I'm sorry. Go ahead, sis.
No, you're good.
I like what the Ravens are doing with their tight ends. I mean, man, pause. I think that both ends are likely, and Mark Andrews, man, they played lights out that last game, and I think they're gonna utilize them again in this game, and they're gonna need them because there's a possibility they won't have Zay Flowers. So but I like the way that Bateman has stepped up and shown that he could be a number one receiver. But Zay Flowers is going to be missed. But I just don't think that's going to hurt them in this game at all.
How cold is it going to be in Buffalo?
Very cold. Very cold. There's a lot of snow on the ground.
Who wants to get in front of Derrick Henry in that weather? If they get
That's true. That makes sense.
Derrick Henry in that weather?
That's true.
That's all I gotta say.
That's true. That's true.
But your boy from Georgia ain't no slouch either.
But
James
who wants to be in front of a 6'2"?
No, I agree.
40-pound.
No, he's 6'4".
Is that running a 4.4, 4.5 in that weather?
Yeah, but he won't be running a 4-4-4-5 on that field.
That field going to be frozen.
Yeah, it's going to be ice. It's going to be nasty. They do have I will say this in Buffalo, they do have the heaters underneath.
No, they don't. Actually, not to cut you off, Fred, they do not have heated field. That Buffalo does not have a heated field. No.
I apologize. I thought they did. So it's going to be as bad as the track. And I'm going to throw some history out there. It's going to be as bad as the track that Three Rivers was when the Raiders used to go in there every January or December and lose because the field would be ice. The reason why was because they wanted to make sure the Cliff Branch couldn't catch anything. So in that respect, they're going to make sure that the field is not good for running. Okay. King Henry's going to get his, but it's not going to be all that in a biscuit, but he will be enough to get that. I think if as long as he runs well, the Ravens will win. But if he does not run well, the Bills will win.
And what's your thought?
I say for the Raiders, you guys need to bring back the baseball field.
Yeah, no, dude, no.
What are your thoughts on the? I know everybody's pretty much thinks the Chiefs gonna win. Any thoughts outside of just the chefs winning, chef and refs?
It's just that if the referees will stay out of the BS, that is now I would say that the Chiefs won one game where the refs really didn't get into it. Now is when they blocked the field goal against the Broncos. It came down to that. But if you look at a lot of the other games that the Chiefs won by hook or crook or magic stuff, remember they lost or the Ravens lost to them literally by a toe at the end zone with Lively. They've been getting by and getting by and getting by. I don't even want to go into the inadvertent whistle against the Raiders on Black Friday. That was BS. You need to play that by rule. I'm not just barking. By rule, and that's why I got the shows with me. If you have an inadvertent whistle by NFL rule, you replay it again. But they kind of just went over, we're not going to do that like they didn't do that against the Raiders and Bengals a couple of years ago in the playoffs. They've been getting by and getting by. If the referees will stay out of it, I think that the defense that the Texans have will be a formidable weapon. And the other thing that people aren't talking about is, the Chiefs are wonderful, but they've had 2 weeks off. You might be a little
month. They've been off like a month for real. They're starters.
Right, but the starters, they were out the 1 week, and then the last week they didn't play, but they did play up until week 17. So they've been 2 weeks that they've been out. This will be their third week, so they're getting back where they haven't really been hitting, like you said. If the Texans can literally hit them in the mouth, that might be something that they're going to need to knock them off of their element. And somebody please keep Kermit out of the Super Bowl. That's all.
That's
Oh yeah, we've had a couple of weeks off. We're ready to go, and I just became a new dad. I got a new baby at home, and so I'm back. I'm just ready to get the ball done.
He's a champion.
He is, but these are my thoughts, generally speaking. And I appreciate all of the commentary because all of you all made really solid, position. I feel like, when it's a group of people and you kind of go around and get everybody's opinion, by the time the second to the last or the last person speaks, everybody's already said what you're going to say. So with that being the case, mine will be short. And that's why I said, let me just go ahead and skip over to the schedule preview of the 20 weeks or whatever, because I knew you guys would basically get everything done. And so hold on one second, guys. Come on. Someone wants to say hi. Fern, I think he hears you.
Oh, they go my Neff dog. What's going on, buddy?
You got on your Falcon colors today. I purposely put red on. There's Uncle Kevin. He's happy. He's actually wearing the Ohio State color red.
That's it. You gotta wear
as long as it's not Kansas City red. That's all.
No, sir. It's a little polo. Okay. Shout out to Amazon for their doggy polo line. Their Dolo. The Dolo line. He had on yellow last week for J Train. And so I'm fair for everybody. He's got a Carolina blue shirt, but not a Panther blue, but he's got like a Carolina blue. All right, guys. So this is so much fun. And once y'all are ready to wrap up, somebody just put a finger in the air and I'll be like, okay, we'll wrap up because I ain't got nothing to do. But anyway, stop it, Lossie. The Chiefs Texans game, it's one of those games we hope that the sloppiness, the way Patrick Mahomes throws all those Hail Marys gets him out of there. But unfortunately, really, not my thing now, man. I'm sorry, Lawson jumped into my laptop. That's probably not going to happen. Bills and Ravens is going to be a preview of literally the Super Bowl. Seriously, like this may be better than the Super Bowl itself, unless Detroit gets by. But those Commanders are not going to lay down and just let the Lions roar all over them. This game is in Washington. It's
No,
freaking.
it's not.
No, it's in Detroit.
It's in
My bad. It's in Detroit. Thank God for that, because we don't need that plus inauguration weekend at the same time. So go figure. Eagles and Rams game. These are when these top seed teams get a chance to finally take the field. So we get a chance to see, did you really deserve your bye, or what did you do with your bye time? Because even though people love to have the bye, like, oh yeah, they got to come to me, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes that could be detrimental. And we saw where Kansas City rested all their players, and they talked about how Denver blew them out. There was some backlash about that, about the fact that nobody stopped the score or what have you. And I'm just like, honey, ain't nobody stopping the score. This is what you sign up for. If you want to come over here and play, you play dumb games, you get dumb prizes. So this is what happened. I didn't feel bad at all. So I'm just going to call the bluff, because at this point, I'm already like so over under for the whole season. It don't even care. It doesn't matter who I pick. I'm going to pick the Texans to upset the Chiefs, because I wholeheartedly hope that they do. I'm going to pick, that Ravens-Bills game. I really don't even want to pick that game. I like both teams. I like Josh Allen. I also like Lamar Jackson, and I like what Baltimore has done to try to get him some help in there on the O-line. And so I want Lamar to win it, man. I have a feel-good story about Lamar. His mom used to suit up and run with him as a kid and train him, and she is like such a great momager. And so because of that, for a single mom, you're a single mom to get out there and suit up, and they ran miles every week. Like they just showed videos of him as him as a kid. You put so much into your son. Lamar deserves this. So I'm going to say the Ravens for that. If they can keep Ray Lewis off the screen, I'm sick of seeing him out there roaring and going on, sit down somewhere. And for the NFC game, I'm going to, even though the Redskins were my team as a kid, I really want the Lions to get this. I hope Jaden Daniels can get back next year and be, really, really good. But I just want this for Dan Campbell. He talked about how difficult it is to get back, and here they are. They're back the same very next season. And they've never been in the history of them. And Dan used to play for the Lions. How awesome would it be to play for the team and now win as a coach? And then the Eagles-Rams game, I want the Eagles out of there. I want the Rams to get it done. I don't want the Eagles there. I just feel like, Saquon Barkley, shout out to you for getting your records, but y'all been here before. The Rams been here before too. But I just feel like if the Eagles advance, they're going to be the formidable competition to the Lions, and I don't want that. I want the Lions to be able to go ahead and advance to the Super Bowl. And I feel like Lions versus Eagles is going to be extremely competitive. And I know to get to the best, you got to beat the best. But I just feel like if the Eagles and the Lions are facing each other, we might not see the Lions anymore. And I don't like that. So that's why I picked that. I will say I'm going to hop on over here real quick to this 20-week game. Roger Goodell is just money hungry at his core. Like, if you look at this article on Bleacher Report, he basically talked about the fact that they went from 18 and everybody should have been expecting to get another week. Okay, next will be at 26 weeks. You'll be playing half the year. And football is such a contact sport. Their bodies are not meant to sustain 26 weeks of playing. They're not meant. You're at 20 weeks now. You're at 20 freaking weeks now, including the preseason. So the way it would look, and this came out on Bleacher Report, he's saying it's a logical step. The thing that's going to hold it up getting past is the NFLPA, the National Football Players Association, because these players have to say, okay, we're good with playing. And they're probably not going to say that, y'all. because they're already banged up. Here we are. You're limping into the playoffs because of all these injuries. So this is what's happening. Goodell is saying that the season's going to remain at 20 weeks, which totally with the preseason, it is 20 weeks, with the preseason being reduced from 3 games to 2. So they're going to take 1 game down there. They would keep that within the 20-game framework. Then he's talking about how they went from 16 to 4 to 17. And so now 18 is the next logical step for actual play in the season. They're expected to go ahead and implement this really quick, and they're jumping up every couple of seasons because they went to 17 in 2021. And so the biggest one is the approval from the players, even though the current collective bargaining agreement runs through the 2030 season. So they've already agreed for the current schedule they have now, 17 weeks through 2030. They're hoping that they can go ahead and implement this sometimes before that expiration is up. So basically, like I said, good is not good enough, and you're getting ready to see a lot of more player injuries. We see these player lawsuits because they talk about how when they get out, they don't have the good health care, they're concussed and what have you. It just, people have said over time that football is not going to be what we once saw it as. But here you got Roger Goodell saying, "Oh no, we want more." Fern, what are your thoughts on that? Is football fading to what we like? We see them already getting these helmets now, trying to do the offside kick. Like you got to announce if you're going to do the sneak stuff. Like, you can't just do a low offside. They got to know it and be in position. And the touchbacks, all that stuff has just changed. Are we looking at a different game? And why is Goodell trying to now increase the time of play when the game itself is changing?
Yeah, I think it's like any other business, right? When the market is there, they're gonna try to make more money. That's just what it is. Just like companies that we work for, they're gonna try to push, to keep feeding that bottom line. LeBron James told Travis Kelce not too long ago, "You guys kicked out, you know what, in ratings, right?" So you got top players who's actually looking at that, who's going to be eventual investors, right, into the game. And it's a lot of outside noise. Now, like you said, it's going to have to take the players to stand up and say no. But if the players don't say no, then that leads me to think that they want to make a little more money as well, too. It comes down to you protecting your body. It's going to come down to players actually saying, "Hey, I can't go today, coach, or take me out, or injuries." But at the end of the day, it is a business, and it's going to run as a business. And these investors, these shareholders, owners, they are responsible for that bottom line. So they're going to push as much as possible, but the players are going to have to take a stand if that's something that they see that they can't handle, right? We're sitting behind a square screen and we're watching these guys and we're oohing and on, but they're getting the crap knocked out of them, right? And, you're expecting them to say, "Okay, I can go and do this for 20 weeks, 20 plus weeks, playoffs. I can do it for a lot more." That's what our expectations is. That's what the owner's expectations. That's what the shareholders' expectations are, right? So at the end of the day, we shareholder, if you're not on that field and you're not hiking the ball and you're not actually playing the game, then your say-so is going to be on a monetary level. It's going to have to take the Players Association to stand up and say, "No, we can't do that," or "You're going to have to allow us to do this and that." And they have that because the NFL is a union. I mean, they can union players. They can say this. They can say that. They're going to be probably times where, I think years to come. In the coming years, you're going to have, the NFL is going to be on a lock. They're not going to be able to play because they can't come to an agreement, But at the end of the day, it's about a bottom line. It's about the money, and it's about how much can we make and if we can make more. That's what it's about. That's just like any other company that we work for as people or any other company that exists. The NFL is just the same.
Yeah, we've seen strikes before in other sports. Even in modern day, we've seen it recently, within the last 20 years or so. And so, the thing is, while we're going on about our week, our work week or whatever we're doing after the game, these players are in ice baths and everything, and they're expected to go not just from Sunday to Sunday, but they got to go and start practicing immediately. And the human body is only meant to sustain so much contact. You're talking about 4, 5, 6, 700 pounds of flesh running and attacking you and landing on you on a constant basis multiple times throughout a game. And it's like having a car accident over and over and over again, and going home and taking all these analgesics and what have you to try to get yourself better. And that's why you see some players like, you know what, I'm out. And it'll look like it's abrupt, but it's really like, hey, they've been taking this 5 years. And to us, we're like, oh, they only been in the league 5 years. Do you know how many hits they've taken in 5 years? Do you know how many hits they've taken in one season? And you don't have to be the one with the ball to get hit. It's a heavy contact sport all the time. I do want to plug in real quick. The biggest, now, people joked on the Panthers and said the fact that we went for Bryce Young, that we sold the farm. But let me give you the real sold the farm situation. Matthew Stafford trade. In case y'all don't know, the Rams got Matthew Stafford, but listen at everything Detroit got in return.
Don't do it, sis.
They got Jamison Williams. They got Josh Paschal. They got Ifeatu Melifonwu. They got Jahmyr Gibbs. They got Sam Laporta. And they got Broderick Martin and probably a whole bunch more. Just those names alone is rough. You got to go?
No, the Rams got a ring.
They got a Super Bowl out of it.
They got the ring. They got the ring.
Got a chip.
I was getting to that. They got their ring. But now look at the maturation of those players I just mentioned.
True.
Those players were not ready for it. When they first, everybody was like, why did he suddenly get rid of the gunslinger? Him and his wife been part of the Lions franchise for so long. His wife had battled a brain disease, and the Lions franchise stood behind her. Her name's Kelly. She talked about it. She blogged about how supportive the Lions franchise has been. They didn't seem like they wanted to go. They were part of the Lions. And so suddenly nobody made sense of it. But here we are. Okay, I got you, Cap. Here we are. The fact that, we are looking and seeing firsthand what the investment was. So when you look at the stuff from the back and then you go fast forward, it doesn't make sense in the beginning. It's kind of like punishing your child. They don't understand why they're being punished then. Why do I get punished? Why can't I just get a warning? But later on, when they don't do this or that again, now you see the purpose of being punished. So, guys, we are literally at the top of the hour. Everybody's been super passionate. We went over a whole hour tonight, so I'm gonna have to definitely trim this down to do the replay. But it's been amazing. We appreciate everybody coming on. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Prim and Proper Sports Friday with the fellas. Good to have. Now, this is the original cast here, y'all, because Captain done went out. But we wish everybody a good night. J Train and I will be on.
Sis, before we leave, can we say a prayer for Notre Dame? They said they were gonna play man coverage, and I just want to say a prayer for them.
Look what Captain Jack has. He went and got some proof that he got some Super Bowl signatures. That's a really hefty gift to have.
Oh, that is fire.
Well, let's put it this way: when I was at the draft in Vegas, and by the way, the guy that's on the NFL Network is an asshole. I don't remember what his name is, but sorry, I apologize. But he said that as the prize that I won for the trivia question, he said, "Well, you can have a Super Bowl football from the Rams or Super Bowl football from the Chiefs." I said, "Guess what? I am not taking the Chiefs Super Bowl."
No,
I took the Super Bowl. And these are all the signatures from, like you said, you're talking about what the Rams got. That trade, this is what they got. They got it.
Absolutely.
And all of their
I'll go ahead and send you my address so you can put that in the mail for me. Guys, this has been a really great time tonight. Thank you so much, Fern, Captain Jack, J Train, Kevo. This is Friday with the fellas. Great night. It will recast at 2 a.m. on the Roku network, and tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. on the Huddle Springs Network. We wish everybody the best, and we thank you guys, and have a good night.
Introducing National Streaming Sports, live and on-demand sports talk programming that you can access 24/7. For the premier sports talk experience, tap into our Roku channel. Start your mornings with Mac and Jack covering all the weekend sports action. Then pour a cup and enjoy all the sports you can drink on the Coffee and Sports podcast. At midday, talk sports from east to west on the Coast to Coast podcast. Followed at night by some hot girl talk with Prim and Proper Sports featuring Sonia Pearson. Talk boxing on the Gloved Fist. Yankee fans tune in for Start Spreading the News. And there's more on the College Sports Huddle and Sports Scope with Robert Butler. There are 20 podcasts in all and 70 weekly shows giving us a 3.4-star viewer rating. To find us on Roku TV, search for National Streaming Sports on the Roku search bar. Click on the logo and you're in. National Streaming Sports, live and on-demand sports talk for America.